I'm competing in the last chance qualifier to make the $1 million World Finals. And to qualify for Worlds, on day 1, we need to place top 2 out of 3 teams in our group. And so our rivalry versus STMN and Bobby continued as we played our first match against them on LAN. Hopping into the first set here on Open Business, we last picked Ruffs, which triple countered their comp of Lou, Stu, and Clancy to secure a pretty big outdraft for us. With our comp, we had a big advantage at the start of the game, so long as we didn't feed Clancy his levels. We kept Charles the Ruffs on Drage the Clancy for most of the game, making it very hard for him to get any of his tokens. Without any Clancy tokens, the game was as easy as it gets as we rolled them 100 to 15% in the zone. Going into game 2, we knew they would adjust to try and get their Clancy's tokens faster. Off the start, he hits 2 quick shots on Chino and then later hits another 3 shots and gets more tokens in 30 seconds of game 2 than he got in the entire first game, which is a big mistake on our part. We fight hard for mid control, but Drage quickly gets the final stage and he completely destroys us. As we gain some control back, Bobby throws his Lou hypercharge on Charles and we eventually all fall, losing game 2. Going into game 3, we cannot feed the Clancy's levels like that or else it would end up the same story as game number 2. Game number 3, we have a great start as we keep racking up the zone percentage while Drage remains without any tokens. As we are adding to our lead, Drage walks up the right side and I make the mistake of trying to fight him around the wall, and I feed him super where he times a gadget and goes from stage 1 to stage 3 within seconds. Now at 60 to 14%, we still have a massive advantage, but they have the best brawler in the game, a level 3 Clancy. Bobby throws his hypercharge on me and they get the kill, but Drage goes down to Chino and that gives us our opening to winning the game. With only 18% left in the zone and the game in our hands, Angel Boy quad dashes across the map and somehow the game gets flipped on its head. We could never get control back and we lost the game, losing the first set. And on center stage, we once again get a good draft where everything is going to come down to the ball in Brawl Ball.
On the Meg, and of course Bobby playing the brawler we've seen him play all year long and do so well at. He's a top frag, a very big threat, and now he's looming. Right hand side, Angel Boy dribbling, kicks away, Chino with interception. Now Patchy might have a breakaway opportunity to grab some positioning here.
But as me and Chino get into a 2v1 with Drage, I completely missed a free path to an open net.
Definitely not the best play, or maybe slightly worrying for him, but a super straight through. Bobby might be able to walk this one. Meteor Rush is there. The extra speed will secure it for STMN.
But as we load back in, Chino gets a hypercharge and Bobby overextends on the right side as we walk it in for a free goal to quickly tie the game from 0-0 to 1-1.
Down this right-hand side, Thrower and Laurie along with him as well, going to switch positions, but Bobby takes advantage of that. Goodbye to him, and now moving forwards, wants to cycle it out, gets another one as well. Chino's going to go down, now a 3v1. Bobby gets the ball, the slowdown's not going to be enough, but this is, in this position, is guaranteed to be a walk. Bobby puts it in, and STMN go to match point.
Going into this next game, we knew that any mistakes in this match would be over.
Fortunate super there, but Bobby was going to be able to use that throw over the shoulder if they went for that. Knockback used onto him, and he's going to go down. Now it's all onto Drage, and it's just a respawn cycle from STMN.
Unfortunately for LG, Laurie can't dribble the ball there, so unfortunately no goal yet, but they're still hovering around this net. Bobby with a super available, dives onto Charles, who grabs the ball, a throw over the shoulders. Now Bobby contesting, but Chino closes out, watches it in, and it's going to be 1-0 for LG.
Now all we have to do is defend for a minute, which wasn't going to be easy with Bobby's final jump in.
The faces of him, it just helps so much. The DPS, the HP, there's a lot going for them, but STMN have to get desperate here. They have to find a way to the other end, and Bobby surviving with a hyper, just going down actually. Now going to make things a little bit tougher. 12 on the clock, a takedown there. It's just Drage standing.
But I somehow managed to beat him in an auto-aim 1v1 Larry vs Primo, and we just scraped by for the win. Another great start to game 3, we get early full control of the grass, getting a full team wipe and sliding the ball in the goal.
So he was hovering over that button. I know he was looking for something special there. Chino corralling around this ball, doesn't quite have it yet. A nice patch to Patchy. Bobby trying to do his best, does intercept this ball, buys a little bit more time, and it's not enough here. Great slot in from Chino.
After we score, Bobby rushes a jump completely, and at the same time he goes down while Chino gets the kill on Drage in their net, but a rush shot from Chino and a good save from Bobby continues the game. But with full control here, all we have to do is not make a huge mistake, and we will take the set.
The mid, but the swing from Drage stops him in his tracks. Ain't Bobby still in the goal defending? Hypercharge going, not going to get his super just yet, but they're not even defending him. He's just gone. He's running. Free goal for Bobby, and now it's 1 for them to take it.
With that goal, it was a slow and painful death as overtime eventually came and they finished the game, taking the match 2-0.
a hypercharge just out of desperation, punching his way through Drage. Drage escapes. Now Angel Boy getting closer to this ball. Bobby in the back of the net. A big tackle there. Steamrolls his way up the map. And STMN EU close out.
With that loss, now we had to win versus Connections or else our year would be over, and then we have to win the next match, so no more mistakes to make Worlds. On Double Swoosh, we lose our first draft. They come away with a much better draft here, but it's definitely still winnable for us as we have a ton of control with our supers.
Mike, but instead gets chewed up, able to jump out there through that dimensional door though to the top side of the screen, and that's Good Night that eats a walking cane. If the surge doesn't get rolling early, it can be such a feast or famine pick.
We pick up the first 10 gems of the game with no real problem until Chino gets caught out and then the Chester sneaks up on us.
Now, Charles with the hypercharge, but look at that Dynamite into the backside, unreal! And the Chester can't be caught, even the Bruce can't catch him, and he's gonna walk away. Connections at 6 gems.
This completely turned the game around, but as we get some control back, Charles gets a clutch team wipe and a half to secure our gems.
Meow walking into this now. Bruce doing such a big job, but still.
Oh, it's too good!
I mean, Bruce is just absolutely walking over them. Good Night trying to retrieve the gems once more, but it's Luminosity with count again.
And there we go, we take the first game. I'd just like to take a moment to point out the horrible production of this entire tournament, especially day one. Day one was horrific. Please do better, Supercell. We end up losing game 2, which is entirely unwatchable on stream, and then the same with most of game 3, but luckily, or so unluckily, the stream caught the end.
Out now, Dynamite kind of reluctant to pick this one up, and that might give an opportunity to Charles to grab it, but Gadget going to be used, not really going to be bringing anybody in there, and Meow use one of his own, trying to drag them back, but that didn't do anything either. Now Countdown does start for Luminosity, and this is the decider in the first set.
That heal associated with the dimensional door is huge for Nita, who can play aggressively and still get back to safety. They do drop the gems. We have a reset here, but Bruce is on the field. We are disrespecting it. Good Night, though. 70 HP actually walks out of the Root Sands alive, and now Connections have themselves a countdown. Still walk away with 11.
Yeah, I mean, the Root Stand's resetting all the heals. Meow solo, same as last time again. TP comes in, Patchy looking for the reset, gets it. All the gems drop. Chino hypercharge activated, trying to run it out with this increased speed, doesn't want to feed it. Bomb comes down, gets it again. Dynamite to the rescue, and all 12 in his hands.
Chester's not guaranteed to get that super. That was absolutely random and just what he needed to take down the gem carrier. 10 seconds left.
With the game on the line, unironically, Dynamite got the 1 in 5 Dynamite-looking Chester bomb, which makes us one set off our entire year being over. However, Shooting Star was our bread and butter. We got a classic LG comp of Max, Gene, and Carl. Every game we would start with a Carl flying hook, picking up the blue star, and gave us a nice early lead every game, which is exactly why we picked the Carl. As we get backed into the corner, I hit a risky pull on the Meg, which almost gets us all team wiped.
Pushed up. Look at how we are corralling Luminosity in the corner of the map. They've got to make a play here. Magic Hand catches the Meg. Not the target you're looking for. They eat a super swing as well. So much damage, but eventually they bring the Meg down. It'll be Meow responding. Chino gets picked up, but Dynamite can't get behind the wall in time. And it's a 2-star lead for Luminosity inside the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, and hypercharge to deflate this push, but it can also just bring to your demise as well if you play it wrong, as you mentioned at the start. Now hypercharge max speed. Now the pull comes in, but no Connections, and Good Night still there to fight. Pull out the mech, though, trying to survive it down, but Berry is there as well, dropping so much damage. Super to the right-hand side, has to run away, can't get the kills, and how many they should have got here, and nobody's dropped. 4 stars still looming there above it. Oh, not able to get it in time, and another one drops. Luminosity hold on, but Connections...
Dynamite luckily delivers the lead 8-8 with his Berry super, but we barely hold on and squeeze out the dub. The next 2 games got put as redos, so we are now up 3-0 in the set somehow, but still need another game to win. I love admins. And production essentially missed the entire game as well, but they didn't get a single kill and we won the set 4-0. Yeah, 4-0, but tied up the match 1-1.
Tough spot for Connections to drag it back.
Dynamite super's forward there. At least gives a good healing field to Good Night, allows them to step up a little bit. Patchy holds onto the Magic Hand, though. That was the super out from Meow. They're under pressure and they can't get away from Chino. Connections there, just in terms of ability sequencing, seem to have dropped the ball. Good Night there knew that their goose was cooked, and Luminosity are going to take away the set.
We've got a pretty defensive comp with the RT and Barley, but my job as the Stew is to not feed the Clancy or else we're gonna lose the game. I'm trying my best to get as much percent on this left side as possible without feeding the Clancy, but it's quite hard as they're constantly doubling me with this Chester.
To deploy a slowing field with that gadget, maybe an attempt to answer the Chuck.
Yeah, well, that's probably is the answer when someone comes aggressive onto him. But Patchy just 1v2ing. He can't be stopped. Dynamite's doing a good job up top as well, and Chino forced a last stand on top of him there, and now he goes back in, but the legs are dropped and he gets obliterated. Clean up the left-hand side, though, is the Clancy, as we'll see the Stu go down. But now Charles can move around. Chino's going to rotate over to the left.
As both of our zones cap, the game is at 68-79. We have a nice lead, but their Chuck is always a threat for easy percentage.
But 1 minute 30 on the clock, getting close to 1 minute 20 now, and this complete cycle of just Dynamite going forwards over and over again on this Chuck brawler is going to tick up that percent bit by bit, even if it's 1%. He's baited out.
But then I finally see my opportunity.
Dynamite able to get the retreat as well, now only 2% in it, but now Patchy comes around the bottom, wants to go for the base race, but Goodnight's in, stuck in between two mines.
Broken away.
Back, he wants to go up, but Patchy gets there.
Patchy can't be answered here. Meow trying to chase him down. Scary at level 3, but look at what Connections commit to try and get rid of that brawler. The Stu is such a problem, but now Connections able to get some away base progress here. Luminosity still have a...
I quad dashed across the map and got the trade on the Clancy, and Charles gets an insane 3-tap on their Chester as we secure the zone for the win. In game 2, I start off feeding the Clancy a lot in the early game without getting much zone as well, which comes back to haunt us later on.
Need to get Patchy out in the open, but he's denying the sightlines away from Connections. Again, behind the barrels he gets. Charles drops the legs here, and Patchy survives and takes Meow down yet again. Connections have to do something about the home zone. They can't be aggressive right now. They need to clear Patchy and Charles away, and they refuse to stick. They're like a bad smell. They're not going anywhere, and Patchy makes it impossible for Meow to put a scratch on him. It takes everything from Goodnight to deal with him, and they're 6% away from making day 2 Luminosity.
They've cleaned up and Dynamite's on the offensive.
We managed to get their zone to 94%, but once the Clancy got the spawn trap on us, level 3, the rest was history.
Battle of the right-hand zone. Last call comes in. Dynamite trying to hold strong. Super's back to the left-hand side. Clancy joining them in the mix now as well, and it's all-out battle for the win.
LG need to get out of their home base, though. They need to get across the map. It's crushing them. Clancy, absolutely devastating. Now Connections have made up the gap. With 8 seconds left in the round, they're going to get the lead. And Luminosity, no, this one has gone begging.
And now our whole year comes down to a single game. We end up rushing the Chuck early on, and I completely dodged the Clancy, just trying anything not to feed him.
The same stance as last time, not really going for this defensive zone, just holding this mid portion of the map, whereas LG sticking to the true and faithful, the norm, and holding their defensive zone to start.
Charles drops the legs here, but Luminosity have that good lead because Charles is getting that home base capture percentage here early, so Luminosity can focus on the enemy objective later. Meow still a problem. Patchy throws down the speed zone, maybe to block a little bit of damage, but Dynamite is there to catch him on the right. And here come Connections now, looking to play aggressively. Chino, unreal! Takes a
I finally get a breakthrough on the Chester, and all we need to do is hold on for the win.
And leaves Patchy free to take this fight against the Chester.
Yeah, Dynamite made the poor decision of going in. LG just pushing forward to have their defensive zone pretty much done now. He gets the kill, and it's always Patchy giving them issues in this back left-hand corner, and now they can't get in, and LG have 3 of them there.
They're going to be so hard to clear from this point. Chino's going to be there with a sticky syrup mixer to make it dangerous. Dynamite steps up. Gadget came down from the barley, but a little bit too late to keep them alive. Patchy juking, dodging Goodnight. He tries to step up and eventually finds the elimination, but Charles has been here the whole time. How do you get rid of the RT now? You have to pinch him. Charles drops the legs, and through the wall he brings Meow down. 87 and counting for Luminosity.
Just poor positioning all round. Chino's going to be able to secure this one now. Last call comes in, 7% left. It's still ticking up, and Luminosity are going to do it. They're heading to day 2. They're sending Connections home, and they manage it.
And with that, we move on to day 2 to play BC Gaming in the golden ticket match. On the first set of Undermine, we have pretty even comps, so whoever plays better is probably going to win the game. They do have Kit, though, who can give them free kills with every jump, making it very dangerous for Chino in the mid, as he can get stunned and die at any point in the game.
Interesting in this setting, we're going to also see on the other end of Lily, who we saw a little bit earlier today, and that's just kind of a boom or bust brawler. Up in your face, though, Lily is lethal.
Yeah, Lily needs to hear. For Charles wants to push aggressively. Maybe, though, a dive across the map just shuts Charles down entirely. Stargo here trying to pressure the backline, though, with Chino's the one carrying those gems. The super will burn the toes of Chino, but Patchy is able to deal with that encroaching Amber.
The gems are even, but we are fully spawn trapped as Chino pulls the turret to break the wall and get us position.
Ivan from Kit clawing his way against the enemy there. Now Patchy a little invisible. No, this map has opened up. This makes a difference. Now the pressure for Luminosity isn't nearly as immense. They can kind of escape these situations. They don't have a 4th brawler essentially on the map anymore, and now they're making another good tackle right-hand side. Such a back and
forth.
Hit on a really interesting interaction to see there. He tackles, survives with just enough. A little assistance there from Geki as well. You can feel the Jesse turret, the invisibility from Megist.
Of course, hypercharge up here for the Gene, but more likely to be used for those raw stats. One gem away from the countdown, though. Luminosity need to move in and take some of this map control now. It's going to be Chino moving up the middle part of the map. Patchy connects with a super. Geki has to get away. Magic Hand comes out. What a dive from Megu onto Patchy, who gets intercepted on his way.
The game continues to go back and forth, but the Jesse turrets get too much value as we lose the first game. Going into game 2, we had to play much more as a team. The kit got too much value, and this time I dodged the kit super with my gadget and end up trading the kit out as Charles cleans up when we take a early 6-0 gem lead.
And against Patchy here, and already Sago getting the better of his lane away from the kit.
Patchy hovering by Megu. The tackle connects. It's going to be Patchy with the takedown. Geki responding though. Charles cleans up. Now it's going to be a 1v1 in the mid as Gene stays back for now. A little assistance from Bruce the Bear. There's just so much extra helpers on this map right now between Bruce and Jesse. So much potential for chaos.
Big lead after that dive early on. That's set up by Patchy, but Megu's able to find Charles, and there was a gem being held, but it doesn't matter. Megu gets brought on in with that magic hand.
The Gene Pull gets the kill and breaks the wall, but I go down to a kit jump, giving the Jessie her hypercharge.
Right now.
Another perfectly timed pull and a wall break as well. Here comes Megu diving in once again. Geki with the follow through, so it's ultimately going to be a trade, but more gasoline fueled on the ground. LG with less space to work with.
Actually, again, gadgets to get past the field of oil here. Going to pop out right in front of Sago and picks him up instantly with a super. Now to take some mid control is the plan. Geki can, of course, get a hypercharged Scrappy. Going to make it a little bit harder for Luminosity to step into the middle of the map, and it's very aggressively positioned.
Scrappy 2.0 on the field. Nita focusing it alongside the teammates. Battle on the left-hand side.
And then Megu goes for a hero play.
Goes down to two other brawlers. A dive from across the map. Connects. Chino barely holds on, though. The help from Charles, and now a hypercharged Bear. A freight train running at BC.
It ends up completely backfiring as Charles runs away with the hypercharged Bear, and we hold on to take game 2. Game 3, I get an early trade on the Amber as Charles gets full position of his lane.
Amber here early. It's going to be a dual 2v2 as both sides recover just a little bit. These early games have been intense. If either side can break away with a little bit of control, it's going to go a long way. This time, Megu surviving. That's much more of the likes of game number 1 from BC Gaming.
Dangerous! Patchy jumps on the gem carrier. Gets into the back line with the gadget, but will be traded out.
With my double kill on the right, Charles was able to walk down the right side with Bruce the Bear.
With the 3 he holds.
Another pull, connects, nails it. It's a takedown immediately there. Charles fighting against Megu. Assistance from Bruce the Bear. He's on a tear. Hypercharge down, and Bruce back to life.
8 gems already for Luminosity. This has been a tough one for BC Gaming. Truly aggressive dive there from Megu. Doesn't pan out at all. Patchy's going to be able to pop out of that gadget shadow realm. Sitting on the side lane with a super in hand, and he uses it instantly. Everybody piles in with their supers, and Geki's the one that eats the magic hand.
Rushing for one. They need at least one more gem, though, if they want to start this countdown back.
Charles, look at the map control generator. He just steps up, audaciously takes the gem away, and Sago's forced to part with his own. It's a trade, but Patchy's happy to go down there as Geki gets caught inside the magic hand once more, and Megu's got no choice but to go for it. Everybody piles.
Charles sneaks in for the last gem, and we hold off the kit and the Jesse hypercharged turret as we get the win. Set 2 penalty kick is a very different story as we play our entire draft around Dynamite, taking his hard counter Stu very, very early, and Dynamite ends up as our 6th pick, which completely hard counters their comp.
2 underway. Here we go for penalty kick.
Megu with the star power that allows Clancy to start with some coins here, so already off to the races in that regard. Whoa, Geki gets burst down so heavily, taken out of mech virtually instantly, and Sago has to respect this and give up the mid.
Huge start here for Luminosity. The red side marching down the map. Chino already at stage 2. Geki trying to rely on that long range to blast his way back up. Sago popping off here too, and Chino forced away, but he is at tier 3.
Patchy here just dodging this Clancy damage. He's been called on so many times to answer this brawler. Sago just barely alive here, but this should be straightforward stuff. Geki's healthy, but in a very dangerous position to play against.
We get a couple early kills, and a nice stun combo gets us the clean first goal of the game. The next minute and a half, we sit in the back of the map with the ball in the corner, making it completely impossible for them to score. Charles hypercharge one-shots the crab, and that ends the game as we take game 1.
Luminosity taking their time once they scored that goal.
Game 2, we start off with an even quicker team wipe and an even quicker goal.
Not to mention, too, Megu just couldn't get the ball rolling. Game number 1, and now he's gone down early. Charles popping off. Chino, dribble, right-hand side. They're just going to play this patient. They know they don't have to rush because the second they get a Charles super, they can blow this map wide open.
Yeah, they want to cycle into another Dynamite super here and allow Charles to play from this incredibly oppressive position. There goes the super. Map starts to get opened up a little bit more, and this is going to be them running roughshod over BC Gaming.
Seconds in, Chino rushing to the mid once again. He's already at that tier 4, partially due to the gadget, but Charles has another super. The stun coming through as well. The pop-off, the great connections are going to lead to LG contesting this mid and not allowing BC Gaming to progress whatsoever.
This time, though, instead of sitting in the back, we push through as Charles one-shots the Clancy, which leaves an open net on the right side of the map.
Eventually, though, he overextends. Geki able to stay alive here, but Megu is blown up by that Charles super. Piper in hand as he passes the ball down to Patchy. That's an easy super shot. Luminosity run away with Brawl Ball.
All we need now is a final set to secure our ticket to Worlds on a hideout. We last picked Carl for a very aggressive draft in their Piper tick comp. And once again, every game of Bounty, we have the advantage of the blue star with the Carl pick. But Charles unfortunately gets clipped early on, feeding an 8-bit turret. They eventually catch Chino out as they take the lead, making us have to push into them instead with their fat 8-bit turret.
He's going to be great, but you gotta make sure you don't feed her, and I feel like that's something that's a little bit more difficult for one of the slowest brawlers in the game that is 8-bit.
The map is opened up here. Walking Cane used also to try and take down the damage booster from 8-bit, but an open map can benefit BC Gaming with their superior range. Sargo here wants to play behind cover to some degree, but Charles also needs to go to the left. Otherwise, it's just easy pickings to generate more supers for BC Gaming.
As we're pushing in, I unfortunately go down, but our focus is still getting their Piper to get the win.
But one favoring the end of BC Gaming has to be Piper, going for another one, 980. A nice dodge from Chino, doesn't escape with ease, but does manage to get away and hold on to those 2 stars.
Sargo aggressive.
And then Chino Carl gadgets down the right side, trying to make a hero play.
Chino has to dodge a lot of this damage. Here come Luminosity. Now a bit more of an aggressive posture, but the head first is used by Megu to make some space and force Chino to respect it.
Let's see if LG can clutch up here. About to enter the shot clock, and Gary is all on his own. Piper looking to do some extra damage. Chino cycling in. There's the first. They need one more. Megu backed into a corner. Long-range shots not available for Piper here. Jumps into the air. Might fall into Chino's arms. Swipes away. Dives out. Chino in and out.
He gets the 8-bit, and then the Piper jumps right into his hands as he dives right out, and we steal game number 1. Game 2, we play much more aggressive to start.
It's all over.
There's so much last-second potential for the side of LG. You can never feel too comfortable. Confidence exuding from the fellas on stage right now. They're 1 game away from securing another World Finals for themselves.
2 Walking Canes already for Patchy, right? Not really generating any opportunity. But LG, of course, have the blue star. They still want to go aggressive. It's Chino flying hook forward, but Geki has the durability. Chino still wins it out. Charles knocked out of mech, but it's a 5-star lead here. Now down to 2 with that trade. Carl's picked up, and Charles is looking a little bit lonely.
The 5-1 lead then turned into us being down 8-5, and we now again had to push into the 8-bit turret. But in our final push, Sago connects 4 straight Piper shots on Charles, knocks him out of mech, and then kills him in the mech, and we couldn't come back in the end.
Charles is threatening here, dangerous using that dimensional door. Patchy hasn't built up another super quite yet though, so there's no upfront all-in potential. What a catch for Sargo! Charles lingers a little bit too long on the left-hand side, and now it's a 3-star lead for BC Gaming with 15 seconds left to play.
Shot clock begins. BC Gaming up 3 stars, fighting for their tournament lives. Luminosity trying to close out here. Backed away. Chino flying in. Tailspin connects, but he finds himself in the face of a super. 2 pickups for BC Gaming, and they'll extend us for at least 1 more.
Game 3, instead I go for the blue star and I tell Charles to run aggressive on the Piper, but unfortunately I get caught out by a nice curve, so they once again have the lead and we have to push into them. Eventually Charles does fall down as well, as they have another early lead we have to come back from.
Being demeched deep in enemy territory, and the head first claims another for BC Gaming. A huge lead early in the round.
We slowly back them into a corner where they have nowhere to run.
Sets Patchy up for an easy kill. Instead he gives it up again.
Sago there to the rescue. Geki narrowly escaped the shots. A good gadget there to preserve Charles in that mech. Chino still a strong presence on that right-hand side. Now he's making it known a little bit more. Tailspin available. Cleans through 1. Gadget available. Meg fires. Connects. Looking for 1 more takedown. Sago jumps. They're protecting him as much as they can. Chino just swiping away. Going for another one.
The fadeaway pickaxe gives us a 15-9 lead as I tank the Piper curve for Charles, and all we need to do is hold.
Lead, and they're able to get away with it too. Patchy takes a shot from the Piper. Luminosity now can back up. 6 stars in it. It's going to have to take it all in for BC Gaming to take this set, to stay alive in the LCQ, Kenny.
It's going to take everything they have. One of the darlings of our tournament weekend, now with backs against the wall. The aggression remains, though, from Luminosity. Going for 1, 5 stars being the difference maker here. They need at least 2 kills. Chino dancing on the right-hand side. Patsy there to clean up, and the boys in blue with a road to redemption in 2024.
And with that, we made the World Finals and got put in the death group with the 2 best teams in the world, ZETA and Crazy Raccoon.